Hey everyone, today I'm going to be creating a wide receiver tier list with the most prevalent wide receivers in the game today. So, these are the wide receivers down here, and I'm going to be sorting them into these categories. I'll be putting 10 wide receivers into the elite category, which I'll be ranking in the next video. That video will be published 10 days from the published date of this video. Now let's get into it. So, we're going to be starting off with Keenan Allen, and he will be the first wide receiver in the elite category. So that means there are 9 remaining to go in the elite category. Next up, we've got Julian Edelman, and just to clarify, this is going to be based off of their skill level and how they play today, currently. So, Julian Edelman, he's on the downhill. He was really good. Won a few Super Bowls with the Patriots. So he's gonna go into average. Obviously he is a much better receiver than average, but he's going in there because of his current state. Then we've got Tyreek Hill. Easily goes into elite. One of the fastest receivers in the league. Great deep ball threat. And just really helps boost that Kansas City offense. Next up, we've got Sammy Watkins. I'm gonna have to put him into average. He was never anything special. He's a decent deep ball threat, but I can't put him above average or anywhere up here, so he's gonna go into the average tier for me. Next up, we've got Juju Smith-Schuster. So I know this guy is pretty hated, but I think he's a pretty good receiver, especially for he does what he's supposed to on that Steelers offense. Doesn't drop too many passes, and I think he's got a ton of potential. He's pretty young as well, so he's gonna go into the above average tier for me. AJ Brown, borderline elite. He had a great year this year. Really good for a sophomore wide receiver, so he's going to go into the borderline elite category. Will Fuller. So for me, it's between above average and borderline elite. And like as many of us know, he was suspended and his season got cut short for the use of performance enhancing drugs. And I'm not sure. I'm going to have to see how he bounces back next year. But for now, I'm putting him into borderline elite. He was on track for probably his best season yet. So that's why I'm gonna put him into borderline elite. However, depending on how he does next year, he could get bumped down to above average. Next up, we've got Chris Godwin. He's another borderline elite wide receiver. Really good, really talented. Had a breakout year, 2019 to 2020 season. So he's gonna go into the borderline elite category. Next up, Marquise Brown. In my opinion, he's been a bust so far. He was decent last year, but this year he's been having drop issues. His catch percent has dropped drastically, and he just hasn't been having much of an impact on his team. So for now, he's gonna go into average, and depending on if he bounces back or not, that tier could change for him. Stefon Diggs, he's going into the elite category. First year on a new team with the Bills, led the league in receptions and receiving yards, so he's easily going into the elite category. Next up, DeAndre Hopkins, easily elite, one of the best in the game, so he's going to go into the elite category for me. Next up, we've got looks like Jarvis Landry right here. I'm gonna have to put him into average. I could see putting him into above average, but he just I don't know, he's not. I feel like Odell Beckham has more of an impact on the Browns than he does. So and I just don't feel like he's the true wide receiver one on his team. So I'm gonna have to put him into average. Yeah, so next up is Golden Tate. He's going into average for me as well. Yeah, not much to say about Golden Tate. He's had a decent career, but he's nothing special, so he's gonna have to go into the average tier. Next up, DK Metcalf, putting him into borderline elite. Similar story to Juju Smith-Schuster. He's pretty hated. There's a ton of controversy with him about him being a top 10 receiver or not, but I think he's got a ton of potential. For me, he's definitely in the borderline elite category. Next up, let's go Odell Beckham. I'm putting him into borderline elite as well. That's pretty easy for me because he had an insane rookie season, and many of us know him for the one-handed catch, the OBJ, whatever you want to call it. That was just insane. So he's gonna go into the borderline elite category. T.Y. Hilton. I can see putting him into above average. I'm putting him into average though. He's similar story to like Julian Edelman. He's on the decline, but he's still a great receiver. So I'm gonna put him into above average. He's still pretty good in today's game, despite being pretty old. So I'll put him into above average. Next up, we've got Adam Thielen. I'm putting him into elite category. He's a great red zone target, and I think the Vikings could be really good if they had a more solid defense. So he's gonna go into elite for me, and that's 5 receivers there. So we've got 5 remaining that go into the elite category. Alright, moving on. Let's go to Amari Cooper. He's going into borderline elite for me. This is based on their NFL career, but he did have an insane college career. So, and also he's easily the wide receiver 1 in Dallas, despite having that insane receiving core over there. But he's just a great wide receiver all around, great routes, reliable hands. So he's going into borderline elite. Julio Jones, no doubt about it, elite wide receiver, always has been his entire career. So that's that. Let's move on to Kenny Golladay. He's on borderline elite for me. Yeah, Kenny Golladay is borderline elite for me, easily. He's just been a really dominant wide receiver for his entire career. If it wasn't for this year where he's been hit with a ton of injuries, I would definitely put him. I would definitely consider putting him into the elite category. Alright, let's move on. Next up, we've got Michael Thomas. He's going into the elite category. I mean, I don't really need to explain that. He had nearly 150 receptions last year to go along with 1,800 receiving yards, which is just crazy. So he easily goes into the elite category. All right, let's stick with the elite category. I'm putting Mike Evans up in the elite category. See, I think Mike Evans is a pretty underrated wide receiver. He's had 7 straight seasons to begin his career with 1,000 receiving yards, which has never been done before. Not by Julio, not by any of these other guys up here. So he's just really consistent, great red zone target, similar to Adam Thielen, and he just goes into the elite for me. Alright, let's continue with the elite wide receivers. I'm putting A-Rob in there. Allen Robinson, elite wide receiver. He's just great, a great wide receiver, insane route running. Especially, he's been doing great things, especially since he has a terrible quarterback. So I think I would like to see what he can do on a team with a better quarterback, and we'll see where he goes because he's heading into free agency this offseason. So I'd like to see him be put onto a team with a pretty good quarterback. Maybe the Dolphins, something like that. Alright, let's continue. DJ Moore. He's going into borderline elite for me. He's a great wide receiver. Insane deep threat. And I think without Teddy Bridgewater, he would thrive a lot more. We saw what he can actually do with PJ Walker this season. So I'm hoping he'll get the chance to show off what he can actually do sometime in the near future. Alright, let's move on. So I've got 9 guys up here, and let me just put the last one in, finish it off. Davante Adams. So this was a really easy choice for where Davante Adams goes. Despite missing like 2 games this season, he still had 18 receiving touchdowns, finished 3rd in the league among wide receivers in receiving yards, or 4th, my bad. He's just really talented. He's got a great quarterback throwing to him, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the future. So the elite category, that's complete, and make sure to stay tuned to the channel. A week from today, I will be posting me ranking each of these 10 wide receivers in order, and I'll be giving more in-depth explanations as to why I put them in those positions. So stay tuned for that, and let's finish this off. Let's finish it off strong, guys. Terry McLaurin, I'm gonna put him into above average. See, he can easily go into borderline elite, but I just wanna make this clear. I think DK Metcalf is better than Terry McLaurin. Tell me all you want, give me all the stats you want, prove me wrong, but DK Metcalf is a better receiver with more potential, a better quarterback. He's just a better receiver right now. We'll see in the coming years, coming seasons, but as of now, he's definitely a better receiver. Let's go Courtland Sutton. Above average for me. I mean, we haven't gotten to see too much of him, but he got a bit of potential. I can see him becoming a pretty good wide receiver in the league. So he's going into above average for me. Same with Tyler Lockett. He's going into above average. Pretty good wide receiver. He's a reception machine. Him and DK Metcalf are a great receiving duo. So I'm gonna put Tyler Lockett into the above average tier. Next up, we've got Cooper Kupp. He's going into above average as well. He's also a really good receiver, reception machine. And he's still pretty young, so he's gonna go into the above average tier. Let's see, who else do we want to do? Let's go with Alshon Jeffrey. I'm gonna have to put him into the average tier. Similar to these other guys, like I said, I'm basing it off of now. So he's gonna go into the average. Had a decent career, but he's just on the downfall. Deshaun Jackson, similar story. I can see putting him into above average, but right now, guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, Terry McLaurin, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, they're just a lot more dominant than Deshaun Jackson. He's still a great deep ball threat, but he isn't on the same level as these guys. Next up, Larry Fitzgerald. He's also going to go into the average tier. I can honestly still see him going into the above average, but like I said with Deshaun Jackson, he just isn't on the same level as some of these guys, so it wouldn't make sense to put him into that tier. Let's move on. Let's see. we've got next up is Deebo Samuel. Deebo, I think he's gonna go into the above average tier. Still a great receiver. I think he's been kind of reeked with like injuries like most of the other 49ers, but he's still a really good wide receiver. So he's gonna go into the above average tier. And I'm gonna put Curtis Samuel is the next wide receiver. He's gonna go into the average tier. He's got that running ability going for him. He does the end around sometimes. Some of those pitches, like where they pitch it back and stuff. So, and he's also a decent deep ball threat. He's had some good games, but he isn't anything special. So, I'm gonna have to put him into the average tier. So, we're near the end. I'm gonna just finish it off with these last few and then close out the video. Next up is Tyrell Williams. He's gonna go into the average tier. He's just not dominant in the game today. So and he's been having a ton of injuries lately. I just can't put him any higher. So that's why he's gonna go into the average tier for me. Next up we've got Devontae Parker. He's gonna go into above average. He isn't able to get as much separation as he used to be able to, and that's kind of hindering the Miami team. So I just can't put him into a borderline elite for that. So he's just gonna go into the above average for me. We've got a few left. Let's see. We've got AJ Green. I'm gonna put AJ Green into the he's gonna go into average. He's not a bad wide receiver. I just want to make that clear, the average tier. I'm not saying these guys are bad. Most of these guys are old and they are near retiring. So that's why I'm putting them into the average tier. They're not as good, they're not as explosive as they used to be. But they're still good receivers. So like if I were to do this tier list when they were in their prime, they would definitely be much higher. Most of these guys would. So, AJ Green, he's gonna go into the average tier. Next up, we've got, let's see. I think we've got 3 left. Some of these guys don't play for these teams anymore, so I'm just skipping them. This is Van Jefferson. I'm gonna put Van Jefferson into below average. Let's see. If I were to treat Van Jefferson like Robert Woods, I'd be putting him into above average or borderline elite, one of those two. I think Robert Woods is pretty underrated. So, but I mean, like, I don't know if I could put him into borderline elite with these other guys. Like, he's underrated, but that doesn't mean that he's on these guys' level. And let's finish it off with this last wide receiver is John Brown. And John Brown is gonna go into the I can see an argument putting him into above average, but I'm going with average. for John Brown. He's a decent receiver, but he's not as dominant as these other guys, like I keep on saying. So thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know down below if you disagree or if you think I should make any changes to this list. And stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching till the end.